Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, verse number 16. Chaturvidha bhajante ma jana sukritinor Arto jijñāsurartharthi jnani ca bharatarshava. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Unlike the miscreants, these are adherents of the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures, the moral and social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these, there are 4 classes of men: those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu defines pure devotion thus: Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. When these 4 kinds of persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of a pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them, devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, also become pure devotees. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at that time associate with pure devotees and become, in their distress, devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with the pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service, and thus transcend knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma, and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activities, and they search after mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your coming here and participating in this great moment of Krishna consciousness. So, we have been discussing yesterday that Namam Duskitanam Mudha Prapadante Narad. So, miscreants sinful life cannot help us in making progress. That we have repeatedly discussed, that we have to refrain from sinful activities. As we have stated several times, Jisāvantagatam papam, that the pillars of sinful life are four. They are, according to Shastra, that Striyasuna Panaduta Jatra Papas Chaturvija. Four kinds of sinful activities, they are considered the pillars of sinful life. What is that? Illicit sex life. In the human society, everywhere, there is a system, civilized method of system of sex life, which is called marriage life. This marriage life is just like a license for sex life. In the Shastra it is said, Loke babaya amishamadda seva nityastu jantu nahi tatra chodana. Those who are conditioned so, this eating, sleeping, mating, these are the necessities of the body. In the spiritual world, these three things, the four things are conspicuous by absence. There is no necessity of eating there, no sleeping, no mating, no defense. That is spiritual life. So in order to advance in spiritual life, we have to voluntarily decrease these demands of the body. That is called tapasya. In our country especially, many great saintly persons say that even kings, voluntarily they would give up the demands of the body. Not that artificially increasing these demands of the body. That will not help us in spiritual life. So this Trisanga or association with woman, that is a demand of the body. Loke bhavaya amisha madda seva. Amisha means non-vegetarian food, eating flesh, fish, eggs, these are called amisha. And madda means wine, liquor. So all the conditioned souls, they have got a natural inclination for sex life, intoxication, and eating fish, eat. They have got a natural inclination. Even ants, they have got all these inclinations. Experts, psychologists and medical men, they have studied that even the ant, it has got also the same propensity. Loke bhavaya amisha madda seva. So, when there is legalized or marriage under religious principle, it is to be understood a sort of concession. In the Puranas, there are tamasic Puranas where it is recommended that if you want to eat flesh, then you can get a goat and sacrifice before goddess Kali, and you can eat that. The purpose is that if a conditioned soul has got the natural tendency, then why they are mentioned in the Shastra? The idea is, just like Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha, his mission was to stop animal killing. Ahimsa parama dharma. Lord Buddha appeared being compassionate with the poor animals. Sadaya hridaya darsita pasu ghatam. There is a description of Lord Buddha's activity by a Vaishnava poet, Jayadev Goswami. He says, praying to Lord Buddha, Nindasi jagga vidhe raha stuti jatam sadaya hridaya darsita pasu ghatam kesavadhita buddha sarira jaya jagadisha hari. Lord Buddha appeared to stop this animal killing. But because in the Purana there are sometimes regulative principles of killing animals, therefore he had to deny the authority of Vedas. Because those who are after killing animals, they will find some clue that here in the Vedas the animal killing is sometimes recommended. But that animal killing is not a, instigation that you go on killing animals. You can understand by a nice example that the government opens liquor shop. It does not mean the government is encouraging to drink liquor. It is not like that. The idea is that if government does not allow some drunkards to drink, they will create havoc. They will distill, illicit distillation of liquor. To check them, the government opens liquor shop with very, very great high price. If the cost is 1 rupee, government excise department charges 60 rupees. So the idea is not to encourage but to restrict. The idea is prohibition, at least in our country. Similarly, when there is allowance for sex life or meat eating or drinking in the Shastras, they are not meant for instigating that you go on with this business as much as you can. No. Actually, they are meant for restriction. Therefore, for spiritual advancement of life, one has to know this basic knowledge, how we have to lead our life in order to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. We have therefore these restrictions that nobody can have illicit sex life. Nobody can eat meat and fish or eggs like that. Nobody can touch any kinds of intoxication, including smoking cigarettes and drinking tea. They are also intoxicants. And nobody can indulge in gambling. So, these things are necessary. Therefore Krishna says, Chaturvidha bhajante ma sukriti na arjuna. Sukriti. Sukriti means, though I am leading pious life, and these are the basic principles of leading pious life. No illicit sex life. Sex life is required, but there is already in the Shastra a license. You can have sex life with your religiously married wife, not otherwise. Actually, marriage sex life is not required, but it is a just like license. The same thing, that there is no necessity of drinking wine, but those who are habituated, those who want to drink, for them government opens under so many restrictions a liquor shop. The Shastra also gives us this license. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, their ideal saintly person, about them it is said, Nidrahara Viharakadi Vidito. They conquered over the necessities of this body, which is called Vishwa. Conquering over sleeping, conquering over sex life, and conquering over eating. These things are required. Pious life means gradually decreasing the unnecessary bodily demand. That is pious. That is the seventh substance. Because Krishna says here that Chaturdvidha bhajante ma sukriti, those who are living pious life, and those who are not living pious life, they are called duskritina, sinful life. So, by indulging in sinful life, it is not possible to understand Krishna. That is, Krishna also says in various places in the Bhagavad Gita, I repeatedly inform you, Jesam antagatam papam, one who is completely freed from all sinful life. Jananam punya karmana, this is punya karma. Not to indulge in illicit sex life, not to indulge in non-vegetarian diet, not to indulge in gambling, and not to indulge in intoxication. So, Chaturdvidha bhajante maha sukritina arjuna atma athati jnani jigyan. Four kinds of men who are actually leading pious life. Such persons when they are distressed, atma means distress. We have got so many distresses in this material life. Three kinds of distresses, pertaining to the body, pertaining to the mind, distresses offered by other living entities, adibhautik, adhyatmik, adidaivic. We are always in distress. That is a fact. But there is a covering influence of Maya, that even in distress condition, we think that we are happy. That is covering influence of Maya. So Artha Arthati, Artha and Arthati, these two qualities are alleged to belong to the Grihasthas. And Jnani and Jigyasu, these qualities are supposed to be belonging to the Tyagis. The Bhogis, the Grihasthas are called Bhogis, and the Tyagis are Brahmacharis and Sannyasi. So, Jnani, when he makes searching after God, there is no question of being put into distress condition or in need of money. They are searching after God for God's sake. What is the nature of God? Athata Brahma Jigyana. They are inquiring, inquisitive about Brahma. What is the nature of Brahma? They are called Jnani. And Jigyasu, they are also within the category of the Jnani. So the Jnani and the Jigyasu, inquisitive, they are better than the Artha and the Arthati. Artha means distress and Arthati means those who are in need of money. So even being Artha or even being distressed and in need of money, we approach Krishna. Krishna says, Mom. not any other demigod. Chaturdvida bhajante mam. Mam means Krishna says, mam means Krishna. So, four kinds of men. Those who are leading pious life, Sukritana Arjuna, because they have no other alternative than to approach God for mitigating their distress. Actually, our invention for so many distress mitigating instruments, just like medicine, take for example, when a man is diseased, generally the counterpart is physician and good medicine. But Shastra says that actually they are not counteracting agents, because it is found that a man suffering from certain type of disease, although attended by the first class physician and although offered first class medicine, he dies. Why? Because there is no sanction of the Supreme Lord. So our counteracting method, even though they are very efficient, is still, unless it is sanctioned by Krishna and God, they will not be effective. There are many such examples. Some years ago, perhaps you know, in America, they started one very strong and stout ship. It is known, I think it was named Titan. So it was guaranteed that it will never be drowned. It is so well located. And all the important men of America started in that ship for the first time. And after few miles, immediately it was drowned. So in spite of all scientific protection, in spite of all good brains behind the manufacture of this Titanic ship, it was drowned. See, in this way, we have to study that this artha and arthati, because they are their background is sukritina, pious activities, they know that without God's help, we cannot mitigate any of our distress condition or needy condition. Therefore, the artha and arthati, whose background is past life, they approach God. Krishna, please help me. Although it is not pure devotion. Pure devotion is without any desire for material benefit. Just like it is enjoined in the Shastras, Samma Subhakriya Mati Pramada. The chanting of Hare Krishna mantra should not be taken as a mitigating agent for our distress condition. No pure devotee will desire for any material benefit by worshipping Krishna or chanting His holy name. That is also considered as one of the offences of 10 kinds of offense. Namnat balad jasahi papa buddhi. But in spite, even though they are not pure devotees, purity of devotion, it takes time, but still, in the Shastra, it is recommended that even if you have some material desire, akama sarvakama va moksha kama udalbhi, akama and sarvakama, those who are atmas, always in distress condition, and moksha kama means those who are desiring after liberation. They are also demanding something. Those who are moksha-kami, they are also demanding something. The siddhi-kami, they are also demanding something. But pure devotee does not demand anything. That is purity. Annavilasita sunnam jnana karmad anavritam. Anukullena krishnanasilanam bhaktivedanta. That sample of pure devotion is found in Vrindavan, amongst the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And Krishna was present. He was demonstrating his transcendental presence of Vrindavan. These gopis and the cows were, they were the best examples of becoming pure devotees. So Krishna says that Chaturdvidha bhajante maam sukrituna Arjuna. So Arjuna also says param dhama pavitram paramam bhavan. Parabrahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhavan. When Arjuna understood the Bhagavad Gita, he understood Krishna also. And he said, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, you are the Supreme Shelter. Param Dhama, Pavitra, this word is there, Pavitra. So, without being Pavitra, without being fat, without being free from contamination of material activities, nobody can approach Krishna, that's a fact. But Krishna is so kind that he orders that even if you have got some kamana, some desire, material desire, still you can take shelter upon me. Sarva dharman pariti, you do not take shelter of anything else, simply depend on me. Sarva dharman pariti mame kangsana. You haven't got to depend on anything else. I will give you protection. So we have to take faith in the words of Krishna and pinch our complete faith and devotion at the lotus feet of Krishna. That will make us happy and make progress in Krishna consciousness in order to achieve the highest goal of life, back to Godhead, back to home. Jadagattana nivattanti tadbhava paramam. So, this Krishna consciousness movement purely based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. It is not a manufactured thing. As you are hearing for so many days, our basic principle is the Bhagavad Gita. It is not that we have manufactured something, as there are so many manufactured processes. So, if we actually take Krishna consciousness seriously, as it is assured in the Bhagavad Gita by the Supreme Lord, Krishna, we are sure to achieve the result without any doubt. Krishna assures, Ma Sucha, don't be doubtful, simply surrender unto me, I shall take care of you. The whole Bhagavad Gita is taught in that way. Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyadi mang namastu. Mameva da prapaddante mayametang taranti. Ahameva sarvajagyanang bhoktata prabhureva. In this way, in Bhagavad Gita, we find Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead. So, his instructions are there. So, our request on behalf of the Krishna consciousness movement, that from, of course, as far as possible, we have tried to convince you during this 8 days function, that if you also cooperate with us, tad josana asu apavargavatman, then the result will be very quick. Simply, if you go back home, hearing all these instructions of Krishna, that will not help. Of course, any sane man will think over this. That is recommended in the Shastra. Through good association, by hearing from the devotees, one becomes purified, one becomes thoughtful about Krishna, but he practically applies in his life the instruction of Krishna, then he makes progress in spiritual life or towards the ultimate goal of life, to go back to home, back to God. It is not a fiction that there is no planet as Krishna Loka. No, there is. From Bhagavad Gita you have understood. But there is another nature. Besides this material nature, there is another nature which is called Sanatana Dham, Parastasmatu Bhavanna. And there are innumerable planets. They are called Vaikuntha Lokas. As much as there are innumerable planets within this material world. So these are all facts. If you believe Shastra, if you have got faith in the Shastra, then you have to take this path of Krishna consciousness in order to transfer yourself to the spiritual world. There is a spiritual world because we are spirit soul. Without being transferred to the spiritual world, we cannot have real happiness or real enjoyment. That is a fact. All these informations are there very explicitly. You do not try to understand Bhagavad Gita by malinterpretation and commentary. Try to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is and you will benefit. That is our request. Of course, we are finishing this ceremony today here, but if opportunity is there, we can continue the study of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and if Krishna gives us opportunity, we shall try to serve you again more and more. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.